What's going on, beautiful people? Thank you guys for tuning in and watching my rants and my ramblings. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your appreciation of my rants and ramblings. So, without rambling too much about how you appreciate my ramblings, let's get down to it. You're tripping balls, right? You've decided, okay, I'm gonna take 3 grams of mushrooms, or even better, 5 dried grams of mushrooms, maybe in silent darkness, or a tab of LSD, or if you're feeling crazy and you're feeling too much of a badass for the rest of humanity, you take 2 tabs. And then you're tripping balls, and things are going good, and it's nice, and you got that giggles, and it's great, and you have like maybe a negative thought that pops into your head, and that negative thought possesses you like a demon, and now you're having a bad trip where now you're thinking, okay, well, the world's gonna end, everything's gonna go to shit, and I'm dying right now, and it's just like things are going south. Right? Things are going south. You're paranoid, you're anxious now, like suddenly you look at this Dragon Ball Z poster here maybe, and then you think maybe these guys are gonna come fucking like kill you. Shit happens, bro, okay? If you're having a bad trip, shit happens. Things can go really bad in more than one way. So if that ever happens, how do you get back on track? How do you get back on that positive, lovey-dovey, giggly, jokey vibe that psychedelics are so known for? Few things you can do here. So I'll start off with like practical, and then I'll tell you why you're probably having a bad trip. First thing first, start chanting and start singing. Okay? Start chanting. If you feel like, oh fuck, I'm having a bad trip and this is gonna last forever, because if you're having a bad trip, you think this is gonna last forever. So, first thing first, start chanting and start singing, So have like a chant before going into the trip that you like, maybe things you do in your meditation. And as soon as you feel like this bad trip is coming, then start chanting it. So for example, I don't know, like you can have, there's a lot of chants, like, if you're into that whole Ramdas scene, I'm not really into that, but I know they have like Hare Krishna, all that, I don't know shit about it. But you can also just have like right? So I like to do that during my meditation. So you can start to just, because it brings you into calmness, and in a state of calmness, whatever chant that you associate in your meditation and something that brings you into the moment and makes you feel calm. For me, like it just makes me really calm. So if I'm ever having a bad trip, all I have to do is go and I go for 5 minutes or so. Here, I just got a call, so I'm gonna decline it. Yeah, so if you go on for whatever chant, 5-10 minutes maybe, and you'll feel calmer, for sure, 100%. And chanting is one thing, singing is another thing, right? So if you have a song that makes you feel happy, makes you feel nice, you can start singing it. For one of the songs that makes me like feel calm and just peaceful and amazing is the Misty Mountains from the Hobbits, right? Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep. Anyway, I don't wanna make your day really bad by having to hear me sing, but you get my point. You start singing a song, and if you have like a phone with you or something, then play the song that you like and start singing it. Give yourself some time, give yourself 10-15 minutes of singing and chanting. You'll definitely feel calmer and you'll get back on track. Because if you're having a bad trip right now, you think this is gonna last forever. And this is the other thing. The other thing is, you probably think this is gonna last forever. So maybe one of the chants you wanna have, or one of the mindsets you wanna have and you wanna remember when you're having a bad trip, this too shall pass. So maybe you can have like that as a chant. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This is momentary. This is temporary. This is momentary. This is temporary. This too shall pass. And if you just kind of start chanting that and feel it, okay, this too shall pass. I'm feeling like shit right now. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm dying. What the fuck did I do? Why did I even do 2 tabs? Fuck, who got me into fucking Terrence McKenna? And I'm doing 5 grams of silent darkness. Fuck you, Terrence McKenna. And you just kind of remind yourself, okay, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Okay, this is temporary. This is not gonna last forever. This is only temporary. This too shall pass. And you kind of remind yourself of that. Then it also will bring you in a sort of state of calmness. Okay, well, because now if you're feeling a negative thought, you think this is gonna last forever. Like, this is very characteristics of a psychedelic trip. Is you think, okay, this is it. This is the final destination. This is it. That's it. The most important moment in the history of the galaxies is happening right now. So if you're feeling like shit, you think that's it. That's the world right now. It's dramatic. That's it, right? No, just remind yourself, okay, you know what? This too shall pass. And, in a few hours, I'll sober up and it'll probably be all cool. And I'll have like a lot of insights from the trip. And yeah, remind yourself of that along with chanting and singing. Will bring you back, because all you have to do is tune in. It's so easy to tune into frequencies when you're tripping. Like, you can be having ecstasy, pure ecstasy, and you're tuned into that ecstasy frequency, or you could be going to hell, because everything's so amplified. The thing with psychedelics is they amplify how you feel, your emotions and your thoughts. They're amplifiers, so it's going to amplify everything. And by chanting and singing, you get back into the positive vibe. Maybe, I don't know, like, I like Bob Marley, so I know if I'm having a bad time or something and I play Bob Marley and I start singing with Bob Marley, suddenly I'm like shifted into this positive vibe. Now, here's another trick that probably, actually, I think this may be exclusive, because the other stuff is kind of common. It's common for people to tell you that if you're having a bad trip, but I'll take it even further. And this is what I do if I think even the trip is slightly going bad. This is what I do. I do the Wim Hof breathing. And you do that for 5-10 minutes, and you be so saturated with oxygen and endorphins and all these good feel chemicals and adrenaline that you'll put yourself in a positive state of consciousness. This is my go-to. So this is why I've had maybe 2 bad trips, and I've tripped a lot. I've had 2 bad trips, and one I didn't, like, I went along. I wouldn't even call them bad trip, but I was just having really negative emotions. So I let out the tears, I let out the negativity, I let out everything. Then after, I do the breathing. So then the breathing would just get me back to total positivity. I let go of the tears, I let go of the negativity, I express them. It's not like you don't try to resist them, right? That's another thing. Having a bad trip is you simply resisting what's happening. So like if you're having to cry or something, like a bad emotion, a negative emotion needs to be expressed, tears, sadness, anger, express it. Then to get back yourself in like the super positive ecstatic state, do the breathing. It'll get you back in there. And now it's like you let go of the tears, you let go of the repressed emotions, and now the breathing just gets you like very quickly back into like this positive vibe. You see? And this is almost a guarantee not to have a bad trip, right? If you do the breathing, it's actually almost a guarantee. I'm telling you guys, it's almost a guarantee that you're not gonna have a bad trip. Assuming, again, you're not resisting, you're letting go, you're just giving into the emotions, right? Because bad trip equals lack of surrender. If you're surrendering, oh fuck, I need to cry right now, cry. Just cry, right? Don't surrender, don't resist it. But after the crying, right? You want to bring yourself back into like super positive. Do the breathing, boom, right? Another characteristic of psychedelic trip is like how you can go very bipolar, right? From one emotion to another. So even if you're feeling negative, you can automatically shift it into a very positive vibe. So we talked about singing. We talked about we talked about singing, maybe dancing too. Singing, chanting, right? Having a chant. We talked about the Wim Hof breathing technique. We talked about, and most importantly, surrendering and letting go for the moment. Letting the fucking thing do its thing through you. Letting the psilocybin, the spirit of the psilocybin, letting it do its work inside your body and your psyche. Letting the LSD do its thing. Letting the psychedelic, if you're taking some other forms of psychedelic, letting it do its work. Sometimes its work is, you got a lot of tears. You're repressing them, you're not showing them. Express them. Okay, so you express. That's another way to get yourself out of a bad trip, is simply to feel the emotion. To let go the emotion that is making you feel bad. And that's just surrender. If you surrender, there's not gonna be any such thing as a bad trip. If you're good at surrendering and letting go, there will not be something as a bad trip. When I talk about my 2 bad trips, they're not really bad. It's just those 2 trips I experienced a lot of tears and sadness, as opposed to the other bazillion trips where it was just like me dancing and singing in ecstasy the whole time. So I wouldn't even call them bad trips. It's just like the good thing, one thing that I can do well on a psychedelic trip is I can let go and surrender. When something really like a lot of tears or crying or whatever comes to me, I let it go. I surrender to it. And then after that, it's gone. And after that, you feel bliss. You feel amazing. So that's like, really, that's even more important than singing and dancing and chanting and doing the Wim Hof breathing, is surrendering. Just let go. Whatever emotion's coming up, let go to it. Let go. It's supposed to happen. If you're supposed to cry right now and you feel tears just coming up, cry. Just let them out. And you might be crying for 50 minutes, an hour. Happened to me. Go check out the one where I became my mom, one of the trips, and I have a playlist. And the other one that I was crying a lot in was, I called it Worst Trip of My Life also. So just go on the playlist and check them out. So like, I've had those. But you know what? Overall, the trips were good, right? And towards the end of the trip, I was like fucking calling my friends and calling people and saying, I love you, I love you. So ultimately, no such thing as a bad trip if you just surrender and let go into the moment. Okay, and just keep in mind, very importantly, keep in mind, this too shall pass. This is not gonna last forever. If you're feeling like hell right now, if you're feeling like you're possessed by demons, if you're feeling like you're dead, which I mean, if you do a big dose, you literally feel like you're dying. Literally, I told in one of the stories, I had like a 5-gram trip, and they were very fucking potent psilocybin mushrooms. And for a few minutes, few seconds, maybe 10 seconds or so, I had to remember my name. This is when I talk when it's ego death. I had to remember my name. I swear to God, because I was like, whoa, like what is going on here? I'm looking at everything as if I just popped out of a vagina, except for I'm like 26 years old and I'm this and this. I'm 26-year-old and I'm looking at everything as if I'm like, I just came to this dimension for the first time in my life. So I was looking at my body and I was like, wow, wow, these are hands. Wow. Oh my God, I can grab things with my hands. And then I'm like, I'm like, who am I? And then for a few seconds, I had to remember my name. I kid you not. I'm like, oh, my name is Saeed. Oh, that's right. My parents gave me that name when I was born. It's like, it's really ego death. You literally feel like you're dying. So you could experience like feelings of like, fuck, like it's bad shit. Like, who am I? But if you remind yourself that this too shall pass, this is not gonna last forever, and you surrender, let go, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. So just keep that in mind. These are very important concepts and foundations to having a successful psychedelic trip. Other than that, you sing, you chant, you dance, and you do the Wim Hof breathing as if you're going in a cold shower, and you'll be fine. You'll always be fine. Okay? That's it. I love you guys. I love every single one of you. And just be responsible and don't listen to me. Go do your own research. I'm just sharing experiences here, sharing techniques and things that have helped me, that continue to help me. Other than that, you guys be responsible. I obviously do not endorse the use of any psychoactive substances, legal or illegal, this video is made strictly for educational purposes. And as always, don't forget to subscribe or you're gonna sleep with the fishes.